In this video, I am going to explain you how to declare and initialize variables. First of all, let's see what a variable is. When we want to show data within the computer, we need a storage area within computer's memory. If this is your computer, and if you have set of data 10, 20, and 30, to store these data, you will need a specific memory location. To store 30, you are going to use this one. Assume to store 20, you are going to use this memory location. And to store number 10, you are going to use this memory location. When we need to access these memory locations to store data or to retrieve data, we should be able to uniquely identify which area we are going to access. That means there should be a way to identify each of these three locations. To achieve that, we assign names to each and every storage area. For an example, we refer this one as X. We would refer this location as Y and this third location as Z. Now, when we store data, we would say X will have number 30 and Y is going to have number 20 and Z is going to have number 10. And when we retrieve data, when we ask what's the value of X, it will retrieve number 30, and when we ask the value of Y, it will retrieve number 20. And also when we say what's in Z, it will show number 10. Now we have names to identify each and every memory location, X, Y, and Z. In this case, X consists of number 30, Y with number 20, and Z with number 10. The names I have mentioned here are nothing but variables. Therefore, when we declare variables within our programs, that will inform the compiler to reserve computer memory for that given variable. Now let's see how we declare variables within C++ programs. The syntax to declare a new variable in C++ is simply writing the data type followed by the variable name. For an example, to declare a character variable, we can use char_c. To declare an int variable, we can use int x. To declare float variable, we can use float f. Here I have declared three different variables. Variable 1 is c, variable 2 is x, and the last variable I declared is f. C means a character variable, x means an integer variable, f means floating point variable. Once we declare variables, it will reserve specific storage areas within the computer. In this program, we have three storage areas, C, X, and F. The storage area C will contain character data. The storage area X will contain integer values, and the storage area F will contain floating point values. Now let's see how we can initialize these variables with values. The first variable I am going to initialize is char c. When you want to initialize, you can use c equal and you have to give the character you want to store within that storage area. In this program, I am going to use letter A. And second variable I am going to initialize is x. X equal, since x is an int variable, I have to use a number. I'm going to use 100. And for the floating point value, I'm going to use f equals 10.5. If you want to print the values which are stored in these variables, you can use cout c. That means it will print the value which is stored within the variable c. That means the value stored within the area we have created for this variable c. Similarly, I'm going to use cout x and cout f. For clarity, I would like to insert this value of variable c is the value, and at the end I'm going to add a new line and L, and here also I'm going to use value of variable x is x, and I'm going to insert another line and L, and here also I can mention value of variable f is f. Therefore, once we run this program, this will display value of variable c is as it is, because here we have double quotation, and therefore this will be printed as it is. And then when we say c, here we have c up here, therefore this will print the value which is stored inside the variable c. And line number 14, cout value of the variable x is, this will print as it is. Here you see we have double quotation, and from this one, since this is the variable x, this will print whatever the value we have within that memory location. And the last line, cout value of variable f is, and the value we have within variable f. Let's see what will happen when we run this program. This is what we see on the console. Value of variable c is a, value of variable x is 100, value of variable f is 10.5, and this a, 100 and 10.5 are the values that we assigned to each of these variables. Now we have done variable declaration and initialization. This is where we declare the variables. I'm going to comment as variable declaration, and here this is the place where we initialized the variables. Variable Initialization. Now assume you want to declare more than one variable of the same kind. For an example, assume you need 2 character type variables and 2 integer type variables. I'm going to show you how we can do this. To declare another character variable, I'm going to use char d. Now the second character variable I have is d. That's the name of the variable. And to declare integer value, I'm going to use comma here, and I'm going to simply use y. Here I have 2 separate statements to declare 2 character type variables. Here I have only one statement to declare 2 integer type variables. Now I'm going to initialize values for newly created variables. For d, I'm going to use a number, let's say 65. So this will be converted into ASCII value and it will print the relevant character. And for y, I'm going to use the number 200. And here, since I'm going to print this, I would like to add and L here. Next statement, cout value of variable y is, and I'm going to print value of variable y here. Now when we run this program, this is what we see on the console. Value of variable c is a, x is 100, f 10.5, d a, and y is 200.